Hello, welcome to class today. My name is Julie and I will be guiding you through your practice. So find a place to settle in and close your eyes. And just begin to focus on your breath. And notice that just by noticing, the breath begins to slow down. Take in your whole physical self and how it feels in the space that you're in. How the air feels against your skin and the sounds around you. And when you're ready, bring the bottoms of your feet together, bring your hands together, and rub your hands back and forth a few times just to feel that heat that is generated between the two hands. And then take your hands to your feet. Just rest the hands there for a few moments to feel that warmth of your hands against your feet. And here is the root chakra. And while your hands are here, repeat to yourself, I am grounded and stable. And then take your hands to the belly, just under the belly button. And with your hands here, repeat to yourself, I am creative in all areas of my life. And then move your hands up just above the belly button. This is the solar plexus energy center. And here you can repeat to yourself, I am strong and capable. And then bring your hands up to the heart chakra. And here you can repeat to yourself, I am loving and I am loved. And the hands to the throat chakra. Repeat to yourself, I can express myself authentically. And then take the hands to the face so that your fingertips are resting just in the middle of your forehead. And here you can repeat to yourself, I trust my intuition. And then finally the crown chakra with your hands at the top of your head. Again, feel that warmth and repeat to yourself, I am supported by a power much larger than myself. And take the hands back down. Just take a moment to come back to your breath. Just focusing on your breath, tuning into sensation, just taking in how you feel. And then take your hands to your heart again and just use this little bit of time before we start to move to set an intention for your time here today, your time on your mat. And when you have that set in place, Take your hands down. And then carefully come to standing. I'm going to go through the bandhas quickly. So the bandhas are a way to keep your body safe and stable throughout the practice. So with the toes lifted and spread, the pada bandha protects your joints in your legs, your knees, your ankles. With your fingers spread out wide, hasta bandha, that keeps the joints in your arms safe and stable. And drawing the belly in and up, mula bandha. This will protect your low back while you move. So pada bandha, feet, hasta bandha, hands, mula bandha, belly. And try to keep those things in place as you move through your practice. And when you're ready, go ahead and come back down to your mat, come to your back, take your arms up and overhead, lift and spread your toes, spread the fingers wide, and pull the belly in. As you exhale, take your arms down by your sides. And as you inhale, take them back up and overhead. And move like this with your breath. One breath, one movement. Just establishing your rhythm with some easy movements and an easy pattern. Try to keep the bandhas engaged the whole time. Fingers spread wide, belly pulled in, toes lifted and spread. And the next time you have your arms down by your sides, draw the right knee in and lift the head and shoulders up. As you inhale, take the arms back up and overhead, lengthen the legs out long, and move between the two sides on your breath. So with each exhale, you'll draw one knee in, reach up with your arms, lifting the head and shoulders, and with each inhale, you'll take your arms back up and overhead and lengthen the legs out long. And now the next time you have your right knee drawn in, your head and shoulders lifted, reaching past the right knee, staying with your breath, pause. And just notice how this feels to be in stillness with a little bit of effort here. Just keep focusing on moving the breath in and out through the nose, keeping the bandhas engaged. Holding for a little longer with this practice. And with your next inhale, take the arms up and overhead, lengthen the legs out long, take a moment for a full body stretch, and when you're ready, lift the head and shoulders, lift the arms, reach past your left knee that is now drawn in. Once you have that left knee drawn in and you're lifted and reaching, pause. Notice how it feels on this side now that you have already held on one side. As you inhale, take the arms up and overhead, lengthen the legs out long. And then place a bend into the knees. Step the feet wide apart. Lift and spread your toes. Take your arms out into a T with the palms down. Pull the belly in. And as you exhale, take your knees to the right and take your gaze to the left. As you inhale, come back through center. And with the next exhale, take your knees to the left and take your gaze to the right. Inhale back through center. And move like this with your breath. Each exhale, take the knees to one side, gaze in the opposite direction. With each inhale, you'll come back through center with your gaze and your knees, keeping the bandhas in place the whole time, focusing on sensation as you move. And the next time your knees are to the right, pause, pick up your right foot and place it on your left thigh, and take your left arm up and overhead, resting on the floor. Your gaze will be turned to the left. Just stay here, focusing on sensation, really feeling what's happening in your body in stillness. And when you're ready, come back through center and switch sides. So knees to the left, gaze to the right, right arm up and overhead, and take your left foot to your right thigh. Again, come back to noticing what it feels like on this side compared to the first side. How does it feel to be still in this subtle twist? How is the body moving the breath? The breath moving the body. And when you're ready, bring the feet back through center with the knees bent. Take your arms down by your sides. Lift and spread your toes. Spread the fingers wide, belly pulled in. As you inhale, take the hips up toward the ceiling. Keep the hips lifted as you take your arms up and over your head. Keep the arms up and overhead as you slowly move back down with the hips. Once the hips are down, bring the arms back down. And move like this with your breath. So each inhale, you're going to lift your hips. Keep the hips lifted. Take the arms up and overhead. Keep the arms up and overhead and slowly lower the hips. And again, move with your breath. Each inhale, lift. And each exhale, bring everything back down. And the next time your hips are lifted and your arms are down, pause. Keep the hips lifted. Place a bend into your elbows so that your fingertips are pointing up toward the ceiling, and just focus on pressing down with your feet, down with your upper arms, and up with your hips. Keep the breath moving in and out through your nose. Feet are about hips distance apart. Arms are drawn way in by your sides. And with your next exhale, slowly lower the hips back down. And draw the knees up. Place your hands at the back of your thighs, just underneath your knees. And with each inhale, straighten out the legs, sending your heels toward the ceiling. With each exhale, place a bend back into your knees. And move like this with your breath, keeping some opposition between your hands and your legs. So as you gently pull back with your hands, gently push forward with your legs. The next time the legs are lifted and straight, start to get a little bit of movement into your ankles. Just point and flex, circle, whatever feels best in your body. And when you're ready, you can take your feet back down. Keep the knees bent. Take the arms back down by your sides. Pick up your right foot, place it on your left thigh. Bend the elbows so the fingertips are pointing toward the ceiling. And as you inhale, lift the hips up. As you exhale, lower back down. And just notice how this feels now just using the one foot as you lift your hips up. And once you've moved a few times up and down with the hips, pause the next time the hips are lifted. And again, coming back to noticing what it feels like to be in stillness with now a little bit more effort. Try to keep the bandhas engaged. Toes, fingers, belly. Keep the breath moving in and out through your nose. Again, we're going to be holding a little bit longer with this practice in stillness. It's always interesting to realize where your thoughts go in these moments of stillness when there is quite a bit of effort. So when you're ready, take your right foot back down. Just draw your knees into your chest for a moment. Take a few belly breaths. And when you're ready, set back up for the other side. So knees bent, feet about hips distance apart, arms drawn in, elbows bent, fingertips pointing toward the ceiling. This time, left foot, right ankle on your right thigh, and move in and out of bridge. Now, with just the right leg grounded. The next time the hips are lifted, pause. And again, come back to noticing, how does this feel? Does it feel different than the first side? Do you feel more steady on this side? Where are your thoughts? Is your breath still even? Moving in and out through the nose. With your next exhale, lower the hips back down. Take the left foot back down to the floor. Draw your knees into your chest again. And when you're ready, take the feet back down, knees still bent, feet still about hips distance apart. Place the hands under the low back. Lift your feet so your feet are tracking straight out from your knees. Keep the legs in this 90-degree position, and as you inhale, lower the right foot down, tapping the heel to the floor, and exhale, bringing it back up. With the next inhale, take the left heel, tap it to the floor, exhale, bring it back up, and move with your breath like this. Noticing sensation in the low belly. Keep the front body braced. Your hands are keeping that low back curve in place so that you're protecting your back. And now start to slow it down and notice the difference in sensation when you're moving a little bit slower. Be sure to keep the front body braced. Stay focused on sensation. And let your thoughts get carried away. And when you have moved from side to side an even amount of times, draw your knees into your chest. Take some deep belly breaths again. Take your feet back down to the floor. Take your hands back underneath the low back. Lift the feet, straighten out the legs. Keep a slight bend into the knees. And this time, keep the legs almost perfectly straight. You will have a bend in the knees, but as you inhale, take one leg down toward the floor, and then as you exhale, bring that leg back up and move between the two sides. Still keeping the front body braced. Still kind of playing around with the pace here. So again, see what it feels like to move a little bit more slowly from side to side. Maybe play around with how far you take the leg forward and down. And just see how it feels. See the differences. Notice the differences. And when you're ready, you can draw your knees back into your chest. Maybe rock from side to side. And once again, take your feet back to the floor, knees still bent. Place your right ankle on your left thigh and draw your left thigh in toward your torso so that you can place your hands at the back of the thigh, just underneath the knee. And then slowly rock from side to side, making sure to keep pressing that right knee a little bit forward. It'll be a very subtle movement, but just notice how it feels to keep it pressing forward. Notice sensation in the hips. Take both feet back down and switch sides. So this time, take your left ankle to your right thigh. Draw your right knee in so you can place your hands at the back of the thigh or maybe on top of the knee. This time pressing the left knee forward. And again, rocking from side to side, noticing sensation in the hips. This is supine pigeon. Really nice hip opener. Stay with sensation. Stay with noticing your breath. And take both feet back down. Knees still bent. And just take a moment here to notice the breath, how it's moving your body. Feel the belly rise and fall with each breath. And lengthen the left leg out long. Pick up your right foot so you have that 90-degree angle again in your leg, your right leg. Take your right arm straight out to the side and place your left hand on the outside of your right knee. As you exhale, carry the right leg over toward the left. And as you inhale, bring it back through center and move with your breath, keeping both shoulders grounded as much as possible. And when you're ready, the next time your right leg is to the left, pause. Take your gaze over to the right. Notice what's happening with the grounded leg. Keep the right foot tracking straight out from the knee. And then come back through center. Take both feet down. This time, take your right leg out long. Place a bend into your left knee with the foot tracking straight out from the knee. Left arm out long to the side. And your right hand to the outside of your left knee. So same thing, other side. Each exhale you twist Each inhale, you come back through center. Shoulders grounded as you move. And then the next time you're in the twist, pause. And this time you can take your gaze to the left. Keep your left foot tracking straight out from the knee. Try to keep the right toes pointing straight up. And come back through center. Place both feet down. And then draw your knees into your chest again, rocking from side to side. Just noticing how you feel in your body now that you've had quite a bit of movement. And when you're ready, you can roll over to your side so that you can come up to your hands and your knees. Maybe reposition your clothing if you need to. And go ahead and come back to hands and knees. Come down onto your forearms. And as you exhale, take your gaze back towards your legs and push your shoulder blades apart. As you inhale, bring your shoulder blades together and look slightly forward. Move like this with your breath. Elbows will be tracking just underneath your shoulders. A little bit of a different sensation if you're used to moving through cat-cow on hands and knees. And then come back up with your hands. So again, you're on hands and knees, and move your hands about one handprint forward. As you exhale, send your hips back to your heels. As you inhale, come back up, keep your elbows in, and lower the torso about halfway down. As you exhale, come back up to hands and knees and send the hips back to the heels. So move with your breath. Each exhale, you'll send your hips back to your heels. Each inhale, you'll come forward, elbows in, lower halfway down. Come right back up on your exhale, sending the hips back to your heels. So move with your breath. Stay focused on sensation as you move. Keep the breath moving in and out through your nose. The next time your hips are to your heels, pause. Take your knees out wide. Take your big toes together. Take your arms forward and your forehead to the mat. Take some belly breaths here. Clasp your hands together. Place a bend into your elbows so that your hands are tracking just above your head. And here you may be feeling some sensation in the back of the upper arm, maybe the shoulders. Pay attention to sensation, and if you feel any kind of pain, come out of this. Just come back into a regular child's pose maybe. And when you're ready, come back up to hands and knees to make your way onto your side. So we're going to come onto the left side first. Once you're on your side, lower down, take your left arm up and overhead so that you can rest your head on the upper arm. Use your right arm as a little kickstand. Make sure everything is in a line. And as you inhale, start to move your right leg up And as you exhale, take it back down. The next time the leg is lifted, as you inhale, take the leg forward of the bottom leg, and as you exhale, take it back. And keep moving like this with your breath. Use the right arm and hand as a little kickstand. Keep the belly pulled in and try to keep everything in a line. And now, next time you're in the midline, begin to make little circles with the leg, one direction and then the other direction. And keep the breath moving in and out through your nose. And with the next exhale, take the leg down. And with the next exhale, bring the leg all the way down, bend the knee, take the knee forward of the hip, and just rest here for a moment, breathing deeply a few times. And when you're ready, you can roll over to your other side. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. This time, the right arm is up and overhead. You can rest your head on the upper arm. The left arm is now your kickstand, arm and hand, and you will be lifting and lowering the left leg. So make sure everything's in a line, pull the belly in, and as you inhale, take the left leg up, and as you exhale, take it down. And when you are ready, begin to take the leg forward and back. So inhale forward of the bottom leg and exhale behind the bottom leg. And as always, move with your breath. Next time you're in the center, pause and start to make little circles. One direction for a few breaths, and pause, and then start to go in the other direction. So just set your own pace here. And you can pause whenever you get to the point of feeling like you've gone clockwise and counterclockwise an equal amount of times. And lower the leg down, bend the knee, take the knee forward of the hip. And once again, just breathe deeply here. Take a moment. And then eventually make your way up to hands and knees, but this time facing the long edge of your mat. So once you're on hands and knees, take the right leg straight out to the right, straight out from the right hip, toes pointing forward. Bring the upper body up, place your hands on your hips. Keep your right hand on your hip, take the left arm up and over your head, and as you exhale, take that arm up and over to the right. As you inhale, come back to the center. Move with your breath. Exhale, take the arm up and over to the right. Inhale, back through center. Keep the belly pulled in, keep the fingers spread wide. The next time you have the arm up and over to the right, pause. Stay focused on sensation here. Try to keep the bandhas engaged. And now come back up through center. Take your arms out into a T with the palms facing down, and just begin to move left and right as if you're trying to reach the side walls, right and left. The next time you are leaning to the left, take that left arm all the way down. Take the right arm up and overhead, reaching toward the wall that's to your left. And if possible, you can also raise the right leg, toes still pointing straight forward. Raise it up to about parallel to the floor. You can take your gaze up, you can keep it straight forward, You can look down, whatever feels best in your neck. Again, come back to your breath. Bring the right leg back down, bring the torso back up, and then take the right leg back to meet with the left and set up for the other side. So this time take the left leg out, straight out from the right knee. Take the right arm up and over. Each exhale, lateral bend to the left. Each inhale, come back to center. Move with your breath. And the next time you are in that lateral bend, pause. Keep reaching up with the right fingertips. And bandhas engaged, belly pulled in, toes lifted and spread. And bring the right hand back down, bring the arms back into a T. Reach to your right and to your left a few times. And the next time you're reaching right, reach down with your right hand. Bring the left arm up and over. And if possible, lift the left leg so it's parallel to the floor. And then reach the left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Look up, look forward, look down. Again, whatever feels best to you. So that you can be here and just focus on sensation, on your breath. Take the left leg back down, bring the torso back up. Take the left leg to meet with the right. Turn back around to hands and knees. Now you're facing the short end of your mat. Send your hips back to your heels in child's pose. And take your arms back as well so that your hands are resting by your feet. Take the forehead down. If it's possible, resting on the mat. If not, as always, bring the floor up to you. If you need a block or a blanket. And come back up to hands and knees. Tuck the toes under. Pull the belly in. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. On your exhale, send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, take the knees back down. So each breath, you are moving into and out of downward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog and inhale back down to hands and knees. The next time you are in downward facing dog, pause. Knees slightly bent, tailbone slightly lifted, heels down if possible. If not, that's okay. Press yourself away from the floor as if you were trying to bring your armpits together. Begin to walk the feet up to the hands so that you are in a forward fold at the short end of your mat, the top short end of your mat. Take a hold of opposite elbows with your hands and sway a few times from side to side. Let your head hang heavy. Knees bent as much as needed. Consider this a moment of rest. And take the hands down to your mat. Come up about halfway with the straight, strong, flat back. Lift the torso up. Lift the arms to frame your ears. Hips are down and back. You are in chair. Feel everything here. Feet should be about hips distance apart. bandhas engaged. Look forward, try to find a focal point. Challenge yourself to take your hips down and back, maybe a little bit more. Knees should be over ankles. And on your exhale, come to standing, bring your arms down and around, hands to your heart. And take a few breaths here. Take your arms up and over your head on your inhale. On your exhale, take the right arm down and the left arm up and over. On your inhale, take the arms back up. The next exhale, take the right arm up and over and the left arm down. On your exhale, bring the arms into goddess arms. Keep your shoulder blades together as you twist the torso from right to left. And continue moving like this. So lateral bend to the right, lateral bend to the left, arms into goddess position, twisting to the right and twisting to the left. And just keep moving like this. Bandhas engaged. Keep the shoulder blades together on your back so you're not rounding forward. And just notice over time, after you've done this a few times, you can maybe come into that lateral bend a little bit further. Maybe you can twist a little bit farther from right to left. And bring the arms down on your next exhale. Take your hands to your hips. Bring your hands to your heart. Come back to your breath. And take a hold of one block and place it at the top left corner of your mat. Turn to your right, step the feet wide apart. Turn the left toes to the left and the right toes slightly to the right. Be sure that the feet are tracking on the same line. And with your hands on your hips, begin to bend and straighten the left knee to make sure that the left knee is tracking over the ankle. The next time the knee is bent, pause. Bring the arms out into a T. On the exhale, reverse warrior, taking your right arm down and your left arm up and over. Inhale back to center. On the exhale, left forearm to left thigh, right arm up and over. So move like this with your breath. Each inhale, you'll come back to center. One exhale, reverse warrior. And the next exhale, come into extended side angle with the forearm on your thigh and your opposite arm up and over. So move like this as smoothly as you can from one position to the next. And the next time you are in extended side angle with your forearm on your thigh and your arm up and overhead, pause. Again, make sure that you're not rounding forward. Keep the shoulder blades together on your back. Keep your belly pulled in. Keep the right arm tracking right over the ear. Fingertips reaching up and over. And now start to straighten the left leg. Take a hold of your block with your left hand and bring it back so it tracks next to your ankle. Take the right arm up toward the ceiling. Again, look up, look forward, look down, whatever works. Pause here, belly pulled in, shoulder blades together on your back. Come back to your breath. Always come back to your breath in these moments of effort. Place a bend back into the knee. Come back through center with the arms in a T. Warrior two. Take the arms down, hands to hips, straighten the legs. Turn the toes straight forward, bring the feet together. In Tai Chi, twist that out before we set up for the other side. When you're ready, take your block and place it to your right. So again, same thing, other side. This time, step the feet wide apart, right toes to the right, left toes slightly to the left. Bend and straighten the right leg a few times to set up well. Pause in the center with the arms in a T. Warrior two again, looking over your right fingertips. Exhale, reverse warrior. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, back to center. So move through this. Dance the warrior. Belly pulled in. Fingers spread wide. Move gracefully as possible from one position to the next. And the next time you are in extended side angle, this time right forearm on your right thigh, left arm up and over your head, tracking over the ear. Belly pulled in, shoulder blades together on your back. Notice if this feels any different than the first side when you paused here. Take the left arm back down, straighten out the right leg, bring the block back so that it tracks next to your right ankle. Take the left arm up, fingertips pointing toward the ceiling. And again, same thing, other side. Notice sensation. Notice if anything is different here. As always, listen to your body. If anything ever feels like pain, back out of it. You can always come into a different posture to hold if that works for you. Your body is your best teacher, so always listen. Take the left hand back down, come back through center into warrior two. Bring the arms down, straighten out the right leg, toes straight forward, walk the feet together. Tai Chi, twist that out. Notice how you're feeling now. A little bit of effort there. Come back to the front of your mat, the short end of your mat. As you inhale, take your arms up and over your head. Bring the palms to your heart. Come into a forward fold. Once you are in the forward fold, step one foot back and then the other into downward facing dog. Hips up, knees slightly bent. And then step the feet back just a little bit more toward the back end of your mat. And as you inhale, bring the shoulders forward so they track over your wrists. As you exhale, come back into downward facing dog. So move in and out of this plank wave. Exhale to downward facing dog, inhale to plank. Each time you come into plank, belly pulled in, pushing yourself away from the mat so that you're not sinking down. This time you want your shoulder blades apart, not together. Keep looking straight down toward your hands. And find a place to pause here, either in downward facing dog or plank. Plank will be a little bit more effort to hold. If you do so, keep the belly pulled in, shoulder blades apart. And whenever you're ready, bring your knees down to your mat, take them out wide, take your big toes together, bring your arms forward, your forehead down on your mat or a block. You might want to roll out your wrist here a little bit since you were on them for a bit there. And if you'd like to bring your palms together and bring your hands just above the back of your head, you'll feel that in the shoulders, in the back of your arms. And when you're ready, come back up to hands and knees to transition to your back. And once you're on your back, keep the knees bent. Take the feet to the outside edges of your mat. Take the arms out into a T. Bandhas engaged. As you exhale, take your knees to the right, take your gaze to the left. As you inhale, come back through center. With the next exhale, knees to the left, gaze to the right. Inhale back through center. Move with your breath. It's coming back to noticing sensation here toward the end of our practice. Notice how you're feeling. Notice the quality of your thoughts. And the next time your knees are to the right and the gaze is to the left, take the left arm up and over your head, resting on the floor, and take your right foot to the left thigh. Pause here. Noticing sensation, noticing where your thoughts go when you are in a moment of stillness with no effort. When you're ready, bring the knees back through center. Take the knees to the left, gaze to the right. Right arm up and overhead, resting on the floor. Left foot on the right thigh this time. And pause. Noticing differences between the two sides, if any. And when you're ready, bring everything back through center. Keep the knees bent. Bring them to about hips distance apart. Take your arms down by your sides with the palms down. And as you inhale, take the hips up and press down with your arms. Keep the hips lifted and take the arms up and overhead. And with your exhale, bring the hips back down. Then bring the arms back down. Move like this with your breath. So inhale, hips up, arms overhead. Keep the arms up and overhead as you slowly lower the hips back down to the floor so that you feel almost each vertebrae as it comes back down. So it's like peeling it up and letting it come back down slowly. The next time the hips are down and the arms are down, pause. Lengthen the legs out long. Keep your arms down by your sides. Take the right leg to the right and take the left leg to meet it. Cross the ankles if you'd like. Take the arms up and overhead and step your head and shoulders over to the right as well. Take a hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Keep both hips grounded. If you feel like the left hip is lifting up, engage the glute on the right and it should press the left hip back down toward the floor. When you're ready, bring everything back to center and then move to the other side. So left leg to the left, right leg to meet it. Step the head and shoulders over to the left. And this time take a hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Both hips grounded. Notice how the breath moves the body here when it's in this lateral bend. And when you're ready, bring everything back to the center. Lengthen your legs out long. Take your arms down by your sides. And try to relax all of the muscles. Muscles of your face, your arms, your hands. Let the legs and the feet be heavy. Come back to your breath as always. And this is a time for you to digest your practice. Bringing everything back to neutral. And you can take your time here, as much time as you need. So if this ends before you're ready, just continue to be in this position for as long as you like. But when you are ready, roll to your side to bring yourself back up to sitting, the legs crossed. Just come back to noticing how you feel here. Be still for a moment. Come back to your intention. Bring your hands to your heart. It is the light in me that looks out and sees that same light within each of you. Namaste.